So I think I'm going to name this video after the 3 concepts that I'm going to try and convey and share with you today. So that is receiving, self-love, and freedom. Now these 3 topics are intertwined, and almost like a 4th topic I'm kind of throwing in there is holding, because holding I feel like is tied to receiving. Okay, so I'm going to cover these couple of these different concepts. I thought I should really probably take them one at a time, but they're intertwined, and so I'm just going to ramble at you about these things and try to convey what it is that I have learned and that I'd like to share with you. So this is going to be kind of a lot of back and forth a little bit, but I hope that you stick with me, and I'll try to have it all make sense for you. I'm going to start with, I'm going to be sharing 2 different sutras, as well as throwing in some quotes that I really have attached to, that I think go along with this. So the first sutra is Kumbhaka, the Kumbhaka Sutra. Now, Kumbhaka is a Sanskrit word. It means a pot, a measure, a jar, a pitcher, a water pot, a ewer, which is a jug with a wide mouth, or the sign of the zodiac sign of Aquarius. So, one of the reasons I'm going with these topics is because we are currently in a time and space where we're really focusing on these topics as individuals and as a collective. And so these are popping up a lot. We're about to have an eclipse. There's some other bigger alignments happening throughout the year that are all going to be touching on some of these concepts. So if you tune into this now, maybe some of these things can help you out like they've helped me already, and they continue to. So, and the Aquarius, we're in the age of Aquarius now, right? So it's part of it. It's we're dealing with these energies, all right? So in order to be able to receive, which a lot of people are not good at receiving, and I found this about myself, you sort of shrug off compliments, or you can't accept help, or all kinds of things. There's a lot of ways in which we say no to love and no to receiving, and so our practice should be to look for those ways in which we're saying no to love, we're saying no to receiving. And why is it that we're not receiving? We need to question, why are we putting up these barriers, okay? What are we trying to block out? Because sometimes we do need to block bad things out, but a lot of time we have so many walls, we're not allowing any of the good in either. So in order to let those in, we also need to know how to hold space, how to hold those things that are given to us. And this is a breath work practice, because with breath, we receive, we take in, and we give out with the exhale. And this is the flow of life. This is the rhythm that we have. We give and we take. So if we're not receiving life, we're stopping the flow of our vital energy. And this reflects in our body, this reflects in our breath. So as we do breath work, we begin to do a deeper work, whether we're aware of it or not, and we're helping our bodies reset, our mind reset. And so working with the breath is, and mastering it is mastering your life. So this is very important. This is what yoga is founded on. It's breath work. And it was built up from there. So when we breathe in, we have Kumbhaka breath, all right? So when we breathe in, we hold that breath for a second before it goes back out. And with our Kumbhaka pranayama, or Kumbhaka breath practice, we spend extra time noticing how the breath comes in, how we're holding that breath. We hold it intentionally for a number of seconds, or a count of 6, for example. 6 is the number of love, by the way. It's one of the love numbers. And so it's a good one to use whatever number works for you. But say you breathe in and you can hold for a count of 6, 7, whatever, and then you can let it back out. So one of our very calming breath practices is just holding that breath in for that period of time and feeling it in the body. We're holding it within the body. How is the quality of that holding? And you just want to bring your awareness to this. So this is kumbhaka breath. You can also hold at the end of an exhale. So you take a full deep breath in, and then you can go ahead and let it right back out. And at the end of the exhale, then you hold for, again, count of 6, 7, whatever works for you. And so in this way, you can experience the quality of how you hold an inhale versus how you hold an exhale. And you can notice the similarities or differences between the two types of pauses. And so I'm going to, you can try that a couple times as I'm talking. And after I'm done reading this verse, then let's get into that, and I will lead you into, a few breaths of practice with that you can take further on your own. So I'm going to read the sutra and then the practice. At the end of the exhale, breath surrenders to quietude. For a moment you hang in the balance, suspended in the fertile spaciousness that is the source of breath. At the end of inhale, filled with the song of breath, there is a moment when you are simply holding the tender mystery. In these interludes, experience opens you into exquisite vastness with no beginning and no end. Embrace this infinity without reservation. You are its vessel. And our bodies are a vessel for this breath. So it says, with this practice, with this sutra, we are invited to attend with tenderness to how we embrace the breath. There are many practices here. One is to consider the lungs to be a pot for holding the breath. Kumbhaka has the connotation of a jug of elixir, a chalice, a vessel used in ritual offerings to the gods. We revere the air flowing in and out of our lungs as if it is an elixir, and we hold the breath as we'd hold a chalice of some precious substance that we are imbibing. In pranayama, you may hold the breath in the sense of stopping it, but in meditation, holding the breath can mean holding it as you would a lover. Holding is an embrace, a welcoming touch, contact, skin to skin. In lovemaking, we hold the other person in order to allow them to move and allow ourselves to move. In certain sweet moments, the action pauses. Holding and embracing do not mean stopping the flow of movement. Embrace the flow of breathing as you would something infinitely valuable, and you will know peace. There is a world of skill in the way we receive, hold, embrace, cherish the breath. How do you hold a pet, a cat, a lover? How do you hold a note when singing? Develop a light touch in your practice so that you can hold a thought, a mantra, a breath as lightly as you would a hummingbird that has landed on your finger. It alights on you. There is no sense of capture. It is a miraculous meeting. Many meditation techniques emerge from your skill at holding, embracing, and cherishing your relationship with the world, with yourself, with others, and with the world. Meditation enhances our capacity for aesthetic perception and rapture. Put yourself in situations of such joy and surprise that your breathing pauses spontaneously in awe. It takes your breath away. As your capacity for this type of kumbhaka develops, fill it with the beauty of nature and great art. Whatever is so beautiful, you want to drink it in. And so yeah, I hope that kind of gave you a wider perception of holding and embracing. So taking that, that concept of holding, embracing, what do we want to hold? What do we want to embrace? And two big, keywords for this time, this year, and my video, of course, is love and freedom. Love and freedom. So self-love, because if you cannot love yourself, then you cannot love another fully. And this has been a very long journey for me. I've learned a whole lot in the category of self-love. We're taught to hate ourselves and to parent and punish ourselves anytime we do wrong, because that's how our society is in overall based in this way. And we need to learn that in order for us to grow, transform and change and be happy, and for so many things, we need to instead learn how to be kind to ourselves, how to love ourselves through these difficult things, through our mistakes, through all the ups and downs of life. Don't be conditionally there for yourself. So don't just show up when you are feeling good. Don't just embrace all of the positive emotions. You have to embrace all those negative ones too. And that's how we make ourselves whole again, is we must embrace everything and incorporate it as part of ourselves, if possible. That's where we're learning about boundaries, but we need to check in on those boundaries. So, jumping over to self-love, I'm going to read a couple of things from my one journal here, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So just a couple of handful of quotes on self-love here, or on love in general. So my favorite all-time quote on love and spirituality and all of that stuff is, "Love is my faith, every heart is my temple." And I feel like that phrase right there conveys so much of what religions worldwide and faiths worldwide have tried to convey. That is the very basic virtue that we're going for, right? Your goal should not be to seek love, for it is what you are. Instead, seek to dismantle and dissolve all the barriers against it. Learning how to open, how to surrender, how to trust. Only in the state of love will the beautiful, fragrant flower of freedom and supreme bliss unfold its petals and bloom. There is an unquenchable thirst to drink in the beloved, a hunger to eat him up, and an immersible intensity to become love. And love is a sudden uprising in the heart. It is an unavoidable, unobstructable longing for oneness. And so, I really loved that quote there, the one part where it says, "Only in the state of love will the flower of freedom and supreme bliss unfold its petals and bloom." And when you are in that state of love and self-love, you end up feeling this sense of freedom, and because all those walls that were based on fear and lack of trust and all kinds of other ingrained patterns that were constructed to keep you safe, constructed to help you through life, but how are they serving you? They're blocking out the good too. So find those areas where it's obstructive, instead of in a not non-productive way, right? And see where you can let the love in for yourself from others, and then you will gain a whole new sense of freedom, which is what we all want. And with freedom, we become wild, right? So there's this a whole movement right now, the rewilding movement. I've seen it all online, as like everyone's on that bandwagon, right? Especially females, we're rewilding, right? We're kind of letting loose. I feel everyone's kind of letting loose for various reasons and various different ways. But it's all about kind of coming into that, sense of spontaneity and delight, those childlike qualities, right? Because we're learning to reincorporate that inner child into our everyday life. We've got to heal all those past traumas and wounds from our childhood in order to be able to love ourselves, in order to be able to be free, to break down all these barriers. So rewild yourself. And I have a few kind of quotes here that go with that, and it says to be mindfully wild and wildly mindful. So when we think of wild, we think of like a wild creature that's feral, and yeah, we need to untame ourselves because we've burdened ourselves with all these restrictions. However, it's becoming wild doesn't mean that you're gonna just go be crazy. You still have full control over yourself. It's not about like, I think that there's in some way this sort of fear of letting yourself loose, whether it is because you will be judged. I know that's one of the things that's held me back. I'm like, I want to be wild and free, but how are people going to see me because I am a business owner? I, this, that, and the other, and I know everyone, and I'm like, where's that? People talk. There's rumors. You've been taught all of these reasons why you shouldn't, and what you need to do is throw all of that away and do it anyways. If it makes you happy, if it's what you want to do it anyway. Because you were given that will, that desire, that want to for a reason. So let yourself be wild in whatever way pleases you. Let that inner animal out, because we are animals. We have become too tame, and if we allowed ourselves to be wild again, I think not only would we be happier, we would be more connected with nature, and all kinds of things. So you want to nurture your force of nature, and nature nurtures us. You want to be the lion and the tamer, so you want to have that strength and that ferocity, but also have the sensibility of the tamer, knowing when to let the lion out, how to let it out, so that it doesn't cause destruction, but you allow it to be expressed so that it is not repressed and holding you back or making you miserable. You want to be a spontaneous observer so that you are being able to be present and in the flow of life. Be instinctual and vulnerable and follow your heart. So yeah, I've got tons of good stuff. I could go on forever. Let me get back to the other sutra and try to finish this session up. So with that concept of freedom, love and freedom, we need to loosen up ourselves, to free ourselves, to let go, right, of anything that's holding us back. And I guess I will read the sutra first, and then the practice once again. So you want to let your attention glide through the centers of awareness along the spine with adoring intent. There is a song to each area of the body, resonating in sweet vortices, long rhythmic vowels and hums. Ah, ee, oh, resounding on and on. Find the harmonies emanating from the circulation of life energies. Listen to these as sounds, then more subtly as an underlying hum. Eventually, as most subtle feeling, then diving more deeply, dissolve into freedom. And so it says, loosened up, freed, let go, having liberated oneself, having attained final emancipation, having put aside, accepting, save. All right, sorry, I had to pause and plug in my phone real quick. Okay, so, and this, the Sanskrit word here is muktva, and that's what it means, loose, all those definitions I just read. Loosened up, freed, let go. So with muktva, the practice is the energy of liberation. I want to be free. I want room to live. I want to express all the life that is in me. This urge is a primordial force, one of the strongest impulses in a human being. If you want to thrive in yoga, connect with the unstoppable force in yourself and let meditation be a space to let your energy run wild. Each area of the body, each vibrating wheel of delicious energy may have its own idea of freedom. Your sexual center, your root chakra or kundalini, may want a certain kind of contact. Your solar plexus may want to feel powerful. Your heart may ache to flow freely in love, and your head is concerned with its own agenda. One of the keys to a healthy meditation practice is to give yourself permission to feel all of who you are. Cherish all your instincts and emotions. As you introduce the feeling of muktva into your meditation, all your energy centers may start talking with each other about what they want, giving you fantasies and sensations. And this is good. Enjoy the show and practice the skills of conversation. Let everyone talk and listen to each other. Consider meditation a safe place to be in conversation with your radical impulses towards freedom, whatever they are. When you accept a wild impulse of freedom and let it permeate your body with energy, attention gets attracted towards suksma, the subtle dimensions of your life force, and the vibrant serenity emerges. Another key to freedom is to let meditation be a safe place to explore where any and all feelings are allowed. You can let the thought or emotion come without editing it or controlling it. You don't care what thoughts come and go, and you don't try to remember them. All you need to do is make a simple decision that you won't act on any thought or emotion that comes during this meditation time. You give freedom to meditation by letting it be its own separate state of awareness in which the body-mind system can explore new patterns of connectedness. And then after meditation with a clearer mind is when you can make time for decisions. And so, I hope that all flowed coherently for you. My mind is kind of like a spider web, and it connects everything, and I was going to try and do my best to convey how all of that fits together for you. So hopefully I did a good job. I hope that it was enlightening. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please tell me. Any and all feedback is greatly appreciated, and it motivates me to do more. And if you are feeling generous, if you do really like some of these new meditations and things I'm talking about sharing and doing, I do have a PayPal, a Venmo, and whatever else it is that I've set up for donations and tips. So if you're willing and able, I'm going to have that posted in the comments down below. If you feel like supporting me, I do really appreciate it. This stuff takes time and energy and effort. So okay, namaste everyone. Blessings and all the love to you beauties. Until next time.